Hello, everybody, and welcome to our What is Carignan webinar. I am David Martin, and I have been with the WSET for over 10 years. I am based at our head office in London, and my main role here is to support our approved program provider network in the EMEA region, in particular Spain, Portugal, and the UK. I am very pleased today to welcome Ferran Centelles and Alba Balcells today to this session. Alba, Ferran, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you. As many of you probably know, the Wine and Spirit Education Trust is the world's leading provider of qualifications in wines, spirits, sake, and now beer. WSET has over 50 years experience in designing and delivering education to help professionals and consumer enthusiasts to learn more about these products. You can take WSET qualifications in over 70 countries throughout a network of more than 800 course providers. If you're interested in finding more about embarking on a WSET journey, visit wsetglobal.com to find your nearest course provider. I would like to remind you that this webinar is being recorded and available to watch via the WSET Global Events Hub on YouTube. Please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A box, and we will try to cover as many as possible at the end of the session. This webinar is part of a longer educational collaboration with INCAVI, the Catalan Institute of Vine and Wine. The INCAVI became a WSET partner in 2023 as part of their interest in education and promotion of the Catalan wine culture. This partnership has been possible thanks to the efforts of their managing director, Alba Balcells. Thank you, Alba, for trusting in the WSET.
Thank you, David. Welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your interest in the history, culture, and uniqueness of Catalan wines. Our collaboration with WSET is a privilege and an honor, which allows us to share the history of Catalan wines with a global audience and highlight their exceptional quality. Thanks again for being part of this discussion.
Thank you very much, Alba. We are very happy to be part of this collaboration. Thank you. Now let me introduce our speaker today. Many of you probably know him. He's quite well known in Spain in particular, but around the world. He's a very very interesting character as well. Ferran, isn't it, Ferran? So Ferran Centelles has an impressive career in wine. I have to say, he was Best Sommelier in Spain in 2006, National Gastronomy Award in 2011, and WSET Best Alumni in 2020. He is a wine educator, not only in Spain, but also in Chile and Colombia, and a regular judge in many international competitions. Currently, he is the Spanish specialist for JansisRobinson.com, and also in charge of the content of the Encyclopedia Bullipedia, Sapiens del Vino, a reference for all future sommeliers. If this is not enough, he also has published 3 wine books. Welcome, Ferran. I'm very glad to see you here again.
I'm super happy, David. Thank you very much. And as you can see, I'm wearing my blue sweater. So I totally fulfill, you know, the WSET standards. So now in blue, happy to talk to all you.
Excellent, glad to hear. So I think now we are going to leave you to start with your presentation. We are looking forward to hear everything you have to tell us about this amazing grape variety.
Excellent, David.
All yours.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent. So hello to everybody, team and students at WSET. So happy to be here with you. Sorry, I'm sorry again. No, I'm here in Barcelona And as David was saying, I was part of, or I went through all the programs at WSET. So I know what are you going through, and I give you all my support, because WSET is super exciting, but also when you reach to certain levels, it's very tough. So here, first of all, I want to send you all my energy and love, and I should say I'm proud of you if you are taking these studies. So keep going, keep pushing, because it's really worth it. It's really worth it. So here to talk about Carignan in French, and I would like to start highlighting Joan Carles Ibáñez. He's one of the super top Maître d' and sommeliers in Barcelona. It's been in our business for a long time, and it's a very well-respected personality within our trade here in Spain. So, and this is a very, very recent news that was in Badeví, which is a Catalan wine publication that was last week. And actually, talking with Joan Carles, he kind of mentioned that Carignana is today Cabernet Sauvignon in Priorat and in Montsant. And as you know, in the 90s, Cabernet, Merlot, Shiraz, they were quite important in Priorat, and most of the producers were using it to kind of improve, let's put it this way, their wines. But today it seems that Carignana is kind of beating them. So that's a good mention from a top guy saying, okay, Carignana, it's here. It's already a reality for super top wines and for very exclusive wines. And now being super, very, very, very humble. So please don't take me wrong. This is an article I wrote back in 2016. So, and it was one of the very first articles pointing and rating Carignanas, wines made 100% from Carignanas. And I even rate one Carignana 19 out of 20 for what is for Jancy Robinson a very, very high super top rating, and I was kind of proud, but also lots of beautiful ratings from Terra Alta, from Empordà, from Montsant, from Priorat, of course. So I can say that in 2016, Carignana was already also a reality, and had the chance to taste many Carignanas. But it seems that this trend, this Carignana love, keeps growing and keeps a very positive growth, both in quantity, in concept, in context of some wines, but also in quality. Okay, so let's look back. This is an ancient book published in 1791, entitled Agricultura General y Gobierno de la Casa de Campo, something like General Agriculture and Governance of the Country of the State. Yeah, so here they back in that time in 1791, they already talk about Carignana, but they talk it not in a very positive way. He was saying that Mazuela, which is another name we use for Carignana, especially in Rioja, Mazuela has a lower. I'm just now reading and translating from the Spanish. Mazuela has a lower quality compared to Tempranillo and Garnacha. The berry is really thought, so kind of rustic, and thus is less prone to rot. But the wines obtained are less intense and they have a shorter life. So already in the 18th century, Carignana was an important grape variety in terms of quantity, but not super well regarded pour Carignan, as we will see how this evolution has happened. Yeah? There is another book here I also showing you from 1905 from Manso de Zúñiga, and it also talks about Carignana and Mazuelo in not a very positive way. So for the beginning of this grape variety, it was not as good as expected, and it was not as well regarded as it is today. So it's difficult to think in grape varieties that have done this kind of evolution from nothing, from very, very rustic and very productive and not super well regarded to extremely top today and being our Cabernet Sauvignon, if you allow me that way. And I agree, we are very very proud of, and many producers, they are betting on this grape variety to produce their super top wine. Okay, so the past was not really like promising from this grape, but today things have changed. So also the first mention of Carignana, not as a grape variety, but as a village. As you know, Carignana, it's an appellation within Spain and a village nearby Zaragoza. It's from 1375. That's long time ago. And we have some texts that say that wines that were produced next to Carignana or Carignana village, they were bought or purchased by the Duchess of Girona. And that's a beautiful text also that we have found. And then about the name, there are many names. Carignana, I would say that the main thing or the main etymology from Carignana, it's from the village from Aragon, that it was already known in medieval times. But also Carignana means curly also, yeah. And Gragnena means sour, and also we can use the word samso, that's in the 20th century, yeah. So that's more or less where the name comes from. Carignana was the Catalan name that we really used in the past. Carignana, it's the Catalan name that we are using today. Carignana, or Samsó, it's the Catalan name that we are using today. And you see here the map, more or less, where the different names are kind of used. Okay, so you see Carignana being super important in terms of also in the whole Catalan country. About the history of the variety, more or less what we know that Castellana Blanca, it's the mother or the father of Carignana. Well, remember that Vitis vinifera, it's an hermaphrodite, so we don't know if it's father or mother, but we have Castellana Blanca. Castellana Blanca, it's a very important Spanish grape variety, not for quality, but because it's a common ancestor of also Godello, Verdejo, Maturana Blanca, and all these very popular names, but also Carignana. So Carignana, Maturana Blanca, Verdejo, and Godello, they share the same parents. Well, we don't know, we just know one, which is Castellana Blanca. The other one, it doesn't have name, or we don't know what it is. That's also quite interesting, but it's the genetic wall that it's also, I mean, Carignana has nothing to do with Maturana, but you know, they share some of the genetics. That's how it works in terms of vine varieties. And then Carignana is not just a Catalan thing. It's also very important in Aragon, also in Rioja, and also from Spain, it traveled to Sardinia. That was in the 18th century under the influence of the Crown de Aragon. And today it's known as Bobale de España in Sardinia. But also it was a very important grape variety in Algeria, especially when Algeria was sending wines to France and was part of France that was really well exported to that country. But also we have Carignan in South Australia, Carignan even in South Africa. And you should know the ones that you are at diploma level. I'm sure you are well aware of Viño as a Chilean association, this Chilean association that bets on Carignana to produce their top and very exclusive wine. Very also, I really recommend to taste some of the Viños. As a reference, remember, Carignana, it was not very well regarded, but it is extremely productive. It can even reach sometimes 200 hectoliters hectare, 200 hectoliters per hectare, which is very crazy. However, in many regions, especially in Catalonia, we also have, we are very proud of having this kind of very old vines, so the yields are kind of better balanced. Keeping with the profile of Carignana, it has a high vigor. It's very vigorous, very fertile, very high yields. It has a late bud burst, a late ripening. So it's a grape that really needs sun and higher temperatures to well ripen. So that totally fits our climate, our Mediterranean hot climate, and also it's very extremely susceptible to powdery mildew and also to downy mildew and botrytis. Very resistant, very good resistance to drought, to frost, and it works quite well in poor soils. Okay, so you see here you've got a picture. It's difficult because you don't have any other object of reference, but the bunch is big and compact, a little bit like garnacha. Garnacha is also very compact, but the berries are quite big in size, very like blue, black, even like very deep red as a color. That gives, when you see the mast of Carignana, or when you see kind of the raw wine, they are super intense in color and quite fleshy on the palate when you taste Carignan. So what happened with Carignan and why Carignan was not super well regarded? Well, especially it was thought to have like a very kind of meaty and reductive character that was not an easy grape to work with. But regarding the article I showed you before, the 2016 article at chancellyrobinson.com, I was actually quite surprised, because the idea of Carignana as being meaty, as being reductive, as being so rustic, was kind of the exception rather than the rule. I mean, I really found some very delicious Carignans, some very accessible Carignans, where reduction and the close nose was not a problem at all. So I would say that probably this image of being reductive and being not so clean or not so pure, it was more about the poor winemaking technique, or it was because they didn't know how to work with. But now today, winemakers, they really know how to deal with Carignan, and it shows this very dark fruit, the cranberry, the very deep smash black fruit, ripe but acid, the dry leaves, the spicy but the pungent spices, and the meat, but not too meaty. So in conclusion, it has lots of tannins, lots of acidity. Okay, it can be a bit rustic, but also a beautiful dry leaf, ripe character, meaty touches, and it's super interesting. It's very deep. It's sometimes it's kind of, wow, that's overwhelming, no? That it's very visual and super savory, no? Savoriness is a word that comes very often when tasting Carignanas. So happily, we have more or less 2,000 hectares in the whole country, in the whole Catalonian country. That means that it's more or less 4% of the grape acreage in Catalonia. 4% it's based on Carignana. 18% it's in Empordat, 25% it's in Montsant, and 30% it's in Priorat. Also, some beautiful Carignanas in Terra Alta. 12% of Catalan Carignanas are placed in Tarragona. A few in Terra Alta, sorry, 1% it's placed in Tarragona, but we can find more or less Carignana around many different appellations. And starting from my very dear Empordà, as you know, El Bulli, the restaurant I work for, was placed in Roses in Empordà, in this beautiful region that shares, as you see in this picture, it's crazy. That's mountains and sea, very close attached in the Costa Brava, a beautiful landscape. With this kind of granite and schist soils, very interesting and very able to produce top quality Carignanas. Also, what is special about Empordà, it's one of those wine regions that they have like a super percentage, a very, very high percentage of old vines. And then, okay, Carignana, it's productive, and Carignana can be a bit over yielding, if I can put it that way. But when you get to the old vines, then balance is perfect. You get really the lots of flavors, lots of concentration. It gets a great sun exposure, as you will see later in the conversation. So here in Empordà, I should say that this land of great Carignanes, especially when they are old vines. I have few brands. As you know, WSET, it's not a producers focus on producers, but now they start to come into my mind like 3 or 4 Carignans that I really would love to show you from Empordà. Very serious quality, very deep flavors in here. Also, a trend in Carignana, and it's Carignana Blanca, see, and Carignana Gris. These are 2 mutations of Carignana. There are not a lot of Carignana Blanca and Carignana Gris in Catalonia, but I would say there are a few hectares, but they interest me like a lot, you know, like it's the contrary, the less hectares, but super interesting grape variety. And now all the sommeliers in here, we are talking because this grape variety, it's not accepted in Priorat, and we think it will be quickly accepted, or it needs to be quickly accepted. Super exciting, not flavorful, not very intense on the aromatics, but you know, very sapid and high in acids, and wow, Carignana Blanca and Carignana Gris. Remember those names, because this is actually something that we will see in the future for sure, and very resistant to this climate crisis we are living, and this drought and the lack of water. So remember, Carignana is not just a regular variety. We have these beautiful mutations that we will see. Well, the producers, I talk with lots of producers, and I can name few of them that they are super interested in these grape varieties, and they're actually planting them. So remember those names too, Carignana Blanca and Carignana Gris. Also, Montsant, a beautiful land for Carignanas. As you know, Montsant was an appellation created in 2001. I love Montsant. It's one of my favorites because you have the quality there. The prices are super fair for the quality you get. This Mediterranean appellation that totally surrounds Priorat with different elevations, different sub areas, sub zones. Also, it's land of beautiful Carignanas. And here, remember also that Carignana is a grape variety with a bit higher acidity compared to Garnacha. And for the ones you are studying WSET, which is the majority of you, I guess, and this is, remember, Garnacha, we normally say that Garnacha has low acidity. It's not super low. I would say medium, yeah, because normal levels of Garnacha, that's very dependent on where it is planted and all that stuff that you know. It's 5 grams of tartaric acid. It's not bad. But but if we take the average, Carignana, it's always higher in acidity compared to Garnacha, and it's a very late ripening. Very late ripening grape variety, but has this ability to keep the acidity. It doesn't burn the acidity. So Carignana, you are my hero, Carignana, because I don't know how you make it, but this grape, it's able to keep the acidity even in very hot, warm conditions. So hat off for Carignana. Thank you for providing this beautiful and balancing acidity to many of Catalan wines, especially when you blend it with Garnacha and Carignana. It's a very common and clever blend. And then Priorat, you know, this licor yesol, this schistol, very poor and low retention of water, where Carignana achieves great concentration and quality. Today, Priorat is the land of the best Carignanas ever. Let me show you that is quite important also. This is a map of vineyards, vines that are more than 100 years old in Catalonia. As you see, in Carignana, there are 222 parcels, plots, fincas, I don't know how to call it, but there are like 222 plots of very, very old Carignanas, more than 100 years old. I don't remember what I was doing 100 years old back, but it's crazy. And as you see, we have 107 hectares of very old Carignana in Catalonia. That means that 5% of the old Carignanas in Catalonia are extremely old. I'm quite proud of that, and I wanted to show you. And the oldest Carignanas are, or the more quantity of old Carignanas are in this in Empordà and in Priorat, as you can see here in the map. Also, Tarragona. See, as I said, 1% of Carignanas are in Tarragona. Tarragona, it's very well known for this kind of rancio styles and also for Macabeos. Carignana, it's a grape variety that it's planted there, but not extremely representative. I would say that probably Carignana, it's more Montsant and Priorat, but still some rancio made out of Carignana in Tarragona, and quite interesting when it gets to this style of wines. And then another fact about this grape variety, that it's a stupid grape variety, not like Garnacha. Garnacha can close the stomata when the plant starts to feel that it's drying. Garnacha closes the stomata and then it breathes, but in a more easy, relaxed way. Carignana, no, Carignana, it's always working. And that means that sometimes it can overwork and can get some of the bunches that are a bit dry, but it's because it's always working and doing this transpiration all the time, and that's sometimes a bit tricky when it gets to unless it is old, then it's well balanced and they have the deep roots, it can get the water. But in younger Carignanas, it's a bit tricky if the soil is super dry and there is not enough water. Finally, the last region I wanted to point, and we are reaching to the end. It's Terra Alta. Terra Alta, it's also a region you need to discover. I just did an article about the great Garnachas Blancas of Terra Alta last week, but also Carignanas are important here. A bit more delicate, a bit more soft and gentle compared to the ones produced in Montsant and Priorat. I would say kind of more relaxed, vivid acidity, refreshing, but also this kind of very spicy, meaty, savory black fruit aromas, but in a more relaxed, easy drinking, no, it's not a word, but more relaxed way. And beautiful Carignanas and beautiful blends of Carignana and Garnacha. Finally, that's the last fact, the last slide I wanted to show, is that when it gets old, Garnacha, the shoots of Garnacha, they are kind of, they fade very easily. Yeah, so they do this kind of shading that sometimes is good and needed. But Carignana, as I said, it likes sun. Direct sun exposure. It's very good to do all this phenolic creation and all this flavor creation, and that's very good when it gets or when we talk about all Carignanas, because the shoots, they don't fall. They keep quite straight, and they keep straight up, as you can see here in the picture of low vigor Carignan. That means that it easily gets the direct sun exposure. It doesn't get burned. It doesn't get this very bitter. As the skin is very thick, it doesn't get burned and doesn't get this bitter flavors or this bitter taste that Garnacha can get. So it's very good that the shoots actually don't fall, and that achieves a great ripening level. So this is more or less it. I tried to do it to give many information as promised in 25 minutes. A bit late, sorry, David, and sorry, WSET team. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Ferran. That was very, very interesting. Yeah, time is running. So we have a few questions, very, very interesting questions. I think we will be able to answer one or two. I think, sorry for that, but we are running out of time. So maybe quickly, Ferran, if you can, there's a question from Joyce She's asking, what are some vineyards developing the most characterful and exceptional old vine Carignans in Spain and France today? Do you have anyone that comes to your mind straight away?
But you mean within Spain, within
Spain and France? Yeah.
You mean regions?
Yes.
So, no, I would say that the really best Carignanas today are in Priorat and Empordà, and these are. And then I was checking the ratings at Chancey Robinson, and the top 10 Carignanas today. Also, there are some of them from southern France, and some Mazuelos in Rioja. But the great majority of very top Carignanas are Empordà and especially Priorat.
Okay. There are many interesting questions, so I can pick up another one, maybe easy to answer. Pierre is asking, could you tell us if this grape is used more in blends or as a standalone?
Wow, that's a very this is a very good question, and I don't know what I should have started with that question. Sorry, that's a very, very proper question. Actually, Carignan was always a blending grape, and as I said, in Algeria, for instance, when they were sending Carignanas to France, they were sending grapes that are very high in acids and in color, and that was great to blend and to lift up slightly the wine. So Carignana, it's always been a great variety for blending, to lift up wines and to bring deeper flavors into the blend. However, I could say that from 2010 on, we start to feel very proud of this great variety, and we start to understand and use it as a single grape variety. But this is a very recent trend that we are very proud of. Yeah, so I would say most of the Carignanas today, they are still blended, but some top Carignanas, actually the article I show you, there was already 100% Carignanas tasted. They make us feel very proud.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ferran. Yeah, unfortunately I cannot answer. I cannot ask any more questions, even if they are really interesting. We are running out of time. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Please complete the feedback poll that's been sent to you right now. And I want to thank you very much again to Ferran and to Alba and to INCAVI for giving us this opportunity. We are very happy with that.
No, thank you. Thank you for all the work you do, and we are also very happy to this collaboration. I'm very happy about being part of WSET, that you really are very top too.
Oh, thank you. So for everyone, the recording of the session will be emailed to all of you, as well as being available to watch on the WSET Events Hub on YouTube. And you also can catch up with previous events in that hub. I just wanted to mention that we are very excited that this week on the 26th, we are starting with the WSET Beer Week. There are many events about beer. It's our latest qualification. So please join that. It's an amazing product as well. So hopefully you have a chance to see some of those webinars. And yeah, this is the end of the webinar. Thank you very much to everybody.